Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you all here for our monthly meeting. Just give me one moment. I'm going to just do a quick introduction. So the recording has started, and we are so glad that you've joined us. We have some great stuff in store for you, as usual. And Jill, I think you should just take it away.
Beautiful. Well, first of all, I just really want to welcome all of you to our wonderful monthly kindness circle, where our intention is to practice, be, and spread kindness to each other, both in business and in life. I thought that we would open it up with repeating the word kindness to yourself. Actually, Mary Beth, we're going to take everyone off mute and out loud at the count of 3. We're going to say the word kindness. Just feel it reverberate through you. Speak the word and feel what it feels like to feel it. And just say it 3 times. We're going to say it all together as the village that we are. Are you ready? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kindness.
Kindness.
Kindness. Kindness.
Beautiful. Does that just feel good? I don't know about you, but just even saying the word, does anybody get that? Feel that in you? Just raise your hand if you feel that. Yes, thank you. I know it's really beautiful, isn't it? Just the beautiful opportunity of saying that. Okay, so that's really super. And I just think a wonderful way to start your day, start your week. Today, as you know, we have the founder of the Kindness Diaries, Leon, and we'll be introducing him in a moment. Has anyone actually seen the Kindness Diaries? It was on Netflix. It's now airing on Discovery Plus. So super excited to be having Leon with us today, and super excited to have all of you with us today. There's a wonderful saying that I found that says, we don't have to agree on anything to be kind to one another, right? Would everybody agree about that? Yes, yes, yes. I love that. And I think that's really a key to, being out in the world, that kindness is a natural thing. It's important to understand that it's free, that you can do it. You can do it anytime. Those of you that don't have Profit of Kindness yet, the book that this is all based on, please get it. Maybe Mary Beth, you can post that in the chat. And Mary Beth, give me a thumbs up when Leon has arrived too, so that we can introduce him, and super excited to do that. In the meanwhile, let me hear, if you would raise your hand in the chat or in the Hollywood Square, give us an example of a time during this past month since we've last met that you've been kind, or something that happened. Who wants to play raise your hand in the Hollywood Squares, or raise your hand in the chat? Who's got one? Let me see my hands up. First one's up, always get featured. You know how it is. Do we have hands up, Mary Beth? How are we doing? Oh, there we go. Randy, our other expert on kindness, and Alexi, you'll be next. Randy, tell us about it. Mary Beth, if you can spotlight Randy, that's great.
Forgive me, can you repeat what you want me to tell? I just raised my hand. I heard you asking to raise hands.
You're so great. Yes, I want you to tell us when you've had an act of kindness in this past week. Would be great.
Oh my goodness. My sweet wife, I'm working really hard to change my diet. I've had some issues with my heart, and so I'm trying to change my diet, change the way I eat, because I need to be kinder to myself. And my dear wife has changed up a bunch of different recipes just for me, in her efforts to help me, meet my dietary goals. So bless her heart.
Yes, yes. We love the supportive people in our lives. Yes?
Yes, we do.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, let's hear from Alexi.
I was recently in a situation where I was separated from my animals for 6 weeks. And so my one friend took my 2 cats, my other friend took my 2 dogs. And so then for Valentine's Day, I put together a package with a gratitude book in it, a special card, and then I gave them some samples. This is a chocolate mousse, and these are chocolate cookies. And I often hand these out to people I have met when I'm walking the dog, just to say hello and just a random act of kindness.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. You're giving out doggy treats or pet treats. Thank you, Alexi. Christine, what's some kindness acts you've had in this past 30 days since we've met last?
Yeah, I'd have to say that I just got back from one where I helped a fellow author that even though my schedule was crazy today, I still snuck it in, and I'll have another one later today with another author that are just new in the business and the journey. And so just giving them the advice and, whatever I could share, just like you do. So I'm following your example, Jill.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Christine. That's very sweet. Beautiful. Thank you. I love these acts of kindness. This is wonderful. Karen, what's been some of your act of kindness, or tell us an act of kindness since we've last met?
Thank you, Jill. I'm so glad to be here, excited to be here with you. Thank you for doing this. I have an elderly neighbor who has the earlier stages of dementia. And so I walk my dog every day, and I invite my neighbor to come with me. So she has some time. She lives alone. And so she's very lonely. And so she can look forward to that every day at 6 o'clock. We're out in the front door stoop, ready to walk together. And so it's an hour of talking and just, fellowship for her.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. These are so sweet. By the way, why don't the rest of you start posting in the chat some acts of kindness? I want to hear them and we want to see them. And that would be great too. So I think that would be really, really helpful too. Claudia, tell us some acts of kindness since we've last seen you.
Just last week, a friend had a difficult surgery, and I set up. I had and her husband is going through a cancer treatment, and she has 2 kids at home. So I had the idea of setting up a food train for her. And when I brought the food, I tried not only to bring the food, so I added some ice cream and dessert and some bubbles when she feels better and some flowers. And then I added one of these bracelets I made, and it says, "Stay strong." Anyway. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. By the way, are we feeling all heartwarmed already? Do you feel that? Do you feel your heart warming up and the blessings of, yes, thank you. And go ahead and post them in the chat. It's beautiful. We want to hear from you. What's been an act of kindness in the past 30 days that you've done? CJ, please share with us. Carol. You're on mute.
Yesterday was one of those one after another kinds of things, and I'd gotten so that I could finally get something to eat or drink at noontime. So I started to squeeze some oranges, and I heard a knock on my back door, and my next neighbor said, "I'm cooking burgers. You want one?" So we ended up exchanging fresh squeezed orange juice and in a burger before I had to start the 1 o'clock class. So we do things like that in this neighborhood all the time, Jill. It's like there's a lot of older folks, people walk their dogs, people do this, people just sit and chat with each other. It's really kind of everybody looks out for each other here, which is really nice.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, nothing like pre-made food, right?
Well, I mean, it's not so much food, but it's just that people here look out for each other, and it's nice. And our mission team just did some really, really neat things. We have had a lot of tragedy type of things with our little church, and so there's a lot of extra reaching going on and out to help people build ramps and things like that. So it's just been a nice kindness week. There's all kinds of things going on.
Thank you, Carol, for sharing that. Hey, Christy, let's hear from you. What's happened? Then we're going to go up to Randy, and then we're going to actually do our first breakout. Go ahead.
Hi. So actually, it's been a reciprocal last couple of weeks. My husband, Jerry, whom you know, ended up in the hospital for 10 days with severe pneumonia. And first of all, I want to say that people that are nurses and in nursing and in care, they are just some of the most wonderful, kind people, and they treated him so well. One day the guy brought him a strawberry milkshake, I mean, one of the attendants, right? And then he came home on Saturday, but my acts of kindness were towards him, being there with him. And then now he's home, and just, I really appreciate that I've actually had the opportunity to serve him. He takes such good care of me all the time that I feel in deep gratitude to be able to help him and serve him, take care of him.
Oh,
But also wishing him well. We leave for Italy in 2 weeks, so.
well, I'm glad he's feeling better and that he's well, and of course that he has you to take care of him.
Thank you.
Randy, go for it. What's been your act of kindness?
So I performed an act of kindness within the last 45 minutes. And actually for Christine Ochu, who is on this call, one of the things that I love to do is that I love to promote authors, and I have 20,000 people on LinkedIn. So I invited Christine, who has a brand new book out, to, send me the title, the blurb, something I don't have to write. I can just copy and paste, and I will, put that on LinkedIn. And I saw Lisa Towles also, I think you have a new book out. Send it to me. And anybody here, you're an author, I will post for you on LinkedIn for you.
Woohoo! What an offer. Randy, will you post your actual email actually in the chat? And that is just such a nice offer. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. Well, Leon, give me a thumbs up if you are ready, because we are ready for you and super excited. Let's bring Leon up into the spotlight, and super excited to have our guest here today. So Leon is a global adventurer. He's a TV host. He's a motivational speaker and a best-selling author. For over a decade, Leon has traveled the globe to over 100 countries to highlight the good in humanity, and documented through his best-selling series called The Kindness Diaries and his TV shows. Leon works constantly to inspire the world with his message of kindness and hope. This is best shown through a series, The Kindness Diaries. Welcome, Leon.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. We are so happy to have you here today and delighted to connect to you. I think I want to ask you some questions that I have a feeling are on some other people's minds. One of which is, what inspired you to do The Kindness Diaries?
Sure. It's a great question. So first of all, apologies for being late. I may be kind, but I'm technically not very clever. So when it comes to getting myself on Zoom at the appropriate time, it sometimes doesn't work out. But look, I used to be a broker in the city of London, and on the outside, I had everything you could ever want. But on the inside, I had nothing you would ever want. But no one knew, because I was wearing a mask, not the COVID-19 type of mask, the psychological mask that tells everyone, oh, I'm fine. But I wasn't fine. And I'm sure there are many people listening here today that know what it's like to wear that mask. It's not fun. And I thought that was going to be my life. I probably going to end up continuing to drink too much, continuing to eat too much, and just living this existence that wasn't really an existence. And I stumbled across the movie, The Motorcycle Diaries. And in that moment, everything changed. If you haven't seen the movie, it's about a chap who travels around South America, relying entirely on the kindness of strangers. And I realized, after sitting through that movie for 2.5 hours, that there was another way to live. And I didn't have to live from up here. And I didn't have to live in my addictions. And I didn't have to live in my pain. If I lived from down here, everything would change. So I quit my job, which wasn't very clever in that moment, but turned out to be quite clever, and started to travel around the world, relying entirely on the kindness of strangers. And prior to the Kindness Diaries, I'd done many adventures. I had walked across America. I had walked from Times Square to the Hollywood sign. I had walked from the Eiffel Tower to Red Square in Moscow, all on kindness. And I arrived in LA after having done the first journey, and I thought to myself that I was going to go back, because no one is perfect, right, to my old way of life, which was living in the corporate world. And I did that for 7 or 8 years in Hollywood. And then in 2013, and this is where we get to the Kindness Diaries, I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and I saw this chap, this homeless chap, with a sign that said, "Kindness is the best medicine." Every time I share this story, I get goosebumps. And I had another epiphany that I'd been doing all the wrong things once again. Because remember that kindness is not about perfection. But when I saw this chap with this sign, I realized I had to once and for all change my life for good. So I quit my job again. I like quitting my job, it seems. And I went and I bought a vintage yellow motorbike and called it Kindness One. Sort of like Air Force One, but a little bit yellower. And I drove it from LA all the way around Earth, back to LA, with no money, no food, no gas, no place to stay. All I had was relying on people like you. And believe it or not, I finished the journey. I managed to circumnavigate the Earth. And I want to tell you one specific story, and then you could ask me some more questions. One specific story that encompasses everything that I learned on that trip. I was in Pittsburgh. No one was helping me. Fine, get it? You know, I would go up to people and say, "Can I stay in your house tonight?" And they'd be like, "No." I understand, all right? Go up to this chap, I say, "Can I stay in your house tonight?" He looks at me and goes, "Look, I'm really sorry, but I'm homeless." He didn't look homeless. He was homeless, was about to walk off. And he turns around and he says, "But hold on. If you want, you can stay with me tonight. I will feed you, I will protect you, and I will give you some clothes." Every fiber of my being was like, "Leon, my good friend, you are not staying on the streets of Pittsburgh." But there was that counterintuitive voice that said, "Leon, buddy, you are staying on the streets of Pittsburgh tonight." And that's exactly what happened. And I ended up sleeping on the streets of Pittsburgh with Tony. And he taught me 2 profound lessons. The first, kindness is free. I'm not espousing perfection. I keep saying this. There is no perfection. But kindness is free. If a man with nothing can be kind, then why can't I? If a man with nothing can be kind, then why can't you? And again, we have bad days, right? We have bad moments. I remember I gave a speech once. Kid, 12-year-old kid puts his hands up and says, "Mr. Leon, I have a question." I'm like, "What's the question?" He's like, "Mr. Leon, have you ever been mean?" I was like, inside, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to lie to the child." But then I said, "You know what, Leon, you're not going to lie to the child. You're going to tell the child the truth." I said, "Yes, I have been mean because I'm just like you. And I make mistakes. And I do bad things. But when I'm mean, I try my best to not be mean again. There is no perfection. The second thing that Tony taught me was that true wealth is not in our wallets. It's in our hearts. No, 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 don't turn the link off. I'm not telling you to give away all your money. But if you do want to give your money, I'll put my Venmo account in the chat and you can send it to me. But what I am saying is that the truest of wealth is in here. It's how we show up in the world. It's how we treat people. It's how magnificently we live. It's how we inspire others. It's how we never give up. That is the truest of wealth. And it took me sleeping on the streets of Pittsburgh for one night to learn those true, powerful truths that truly I have never forgotten and live my life by. And again, there's no perfection. You know, yesterday I was in a bad place and I went to, I was at a Starbucks. And I always tell people to be kind. Be kind to the baristas. Be kind to people. Look at them in the eyes and tell them, I hope you have a good day. And I assure you that yesterday at Starbucks, I did none of that. Right? And I was like, well, hold on, Leon. You're the kindness guy. You tell people to be kind to people and you just were really not very close. And again, that goes back to the issue of perfection. There is none, right? So that's a long-winded answer to how I ended up doing the kindness diaries and what the kindness diaries was. One other piece of the puzzle is that we ended up giving Good Samaritans a life-changing gift. So Tony was put up in an apartment and sent back to school to become a chef. And that's kind of the shortish, longish version of how I ended up doing the kindness diaries. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. I'll say one more thing. So as a kid, I was bullied profusely. I woke up feeling alone. I went to school feeling alone. I went to sleep feeling alone. And no one knew because I was wearing that mask that we all wear, even as a kid. But I had this one teacher who clearly did know. And she would look at me in the eyes every day and she would say to me, I believe in you. And she would inspire in me that I had value. I believe in you. And I never forgot that. I never forgot her kindness. I never forgot her ability to infuse me with the feeling of mattering, with the feeling of being of value. And I wanted you to feel that too. And that's where the kindness diaries really came from.
I love this, Leon, and it's very inspiring around your homeless man's Pittsburgh story. And one of my peeps in the just chatted about that she thinks he gave you a pair of socks, right? So here's the thing. I'm curious because I know it wasn't just United States, it was all over Europe, right? And you took this Air Force One, as you know, the kindness one, all over and did this, and you relied literally on the kindness of strangers every place you went, correct? To eat, to sleep.
Everything. So
that's amazing. I mean, talk about trust. How did you have that trust the whole time?
Look, I've traveled a lot. My intuition guides me. And I know when to get myself out of a certain situation, when to put myself into a situation. I am guided by my intuition. So I trust through my intuition.
Beautiful. I love that. And besides the Pittsburgh man, was there anyone else who really touched your heart, left a big impact? And do you actually still keep in touch with them?
There are many people. When I was in India, I was in Delhi. I found my way to Delhi. Now, of course, that took a long time, but I did. And I was in this, the Paraganj market. If anyone's been to Delhi, they will know the Paraganj market. Just walking around, talking to people, and I ended up seeing this rickshaw driver. Actually, I didn't even know he was a rickshaw driver. just saw him, and I was talking to him. He had a good heart. He had a good soul. I felt it. So I started talking to him, told him what I was doing. He took me back to his home, which was in a very, very poor area of Delhi. And on the outside, it seems like there's so much poverty. But when you go on the inside, there's so much love. I ended up staying the night with him and his family. And in the morning, me and the crew, it turns out that he rented his rickshaw. So we bought him a new rickshaw. So he didn't, all the money that he made from the rickshaw went to him now. And he was a man who was connected to God. He was a man who was connected to his humanity. And I tell that story because we're still friends. In fact, I'm going to India in 3 weeks, and he will come and pick me up in his rickshaw. He will be like, Leon, I'm coming to pick you up. I'll be like, Dhiru, you don't need to come pick me up in the rickshaw. Let me go to the hotel and I'll come and see you. He's like, no, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm like, okay, Dhiru, thank you very much. And Dhiru comes to pick me up. And I go with Dhiru and I meet his family. And he comes to the hotel. And, you know, it's just this beautiful connection that happened with a random spark of humanity. And that's what the journey's about. And it's not, that's the journey of life. It's not the journey of the kindness diaries per se. It's the journey of life. It's all of our journeys.
Well, absolutely. So, you know, obviously you had a crew with you. You were funded because you were doing this. I know originally it aired on Netflix and now it's on Disney Plus. Is that true?
Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus. Thank you. So now it's streaming on Discovery Plus. For those of you who want to tune in, it's called The Kindness Diaries. And who ended up funding this? And, you know, how many people did you have with you? I'm just curious how that actually happened.
Sure. So the corporate world I had been working in Hollywood was in the entertainment industry. I was running a TV production company. So I'd done a couple of shows before. So basically season 1, I funded myself, okay? Which is not very clever. I would not suggest anyone does that. Season 2 was funded by Netflix and another production company. We took, in season 1, between 3 to 5 people, meaning because sometimes there were some fixers, sometimes there were drivers, not for me, for the crew. Season 2 was 4 to 6 people. So it wasn't a big crew, it was very, very nimble.
That's actually not a lot. I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah, very, very small amount.
Yes.
Before I forget, because I don't want to forget, I'm going to put my...
Mary Beth, will you open the chat?
Yeah, I'm going to put my email address in the chat, okay? And everyone who is on this email, all you need to do is send me... Oh, no, I didn't send it to anyone. Everyone, I'll do it again. I wrote a book, well, I've written a few books, but the last book I wrote was called, Go Be Kind, which is basically, you get to have your own Kindness Diaries adventure out in the world, right? So all you need to do is send me an email with your address and I will send you a hard copy of Go Be Kind, yeah? It's good for kids. It's good for adults. It's both kids and adults, right? Yeah. So all you need to do is send me an email to that with your address, your name, and I will get a book out to every single person that sends me a message.
Oh, I love that, Leon. That is super generous, and thank you. I have a final question, but I want to take a quick poll from all of you. So get ready, raise your hands. Would you like to have a Q&A short period with Leon before our networking circle, or would you rather go into our first circle? So first option is, would you like to ask Leon questions and have some time for that? Raise your hands, please. Mary Beth, help me do the poll. And or would you rather go into our first circle where we talk about what he talked about? Raise your hands, please. Mary Beth, which one wins? I think it's asking him Q&A, yes?
I think so.
Okay, so let's do that. We're going to take the first 5 questions. So get your hands up if you actually want to ask him a question. I ask that they be short so Leon can answer. We'll have about 10 minutes for this portion. And Leon, my final question, so to speak, just for this moment, is did you find some cultures, some cities, whether it's the United States or in Europe or in Asia, more kind than others?
On the surface, yes. So in certain places they were kinder, but I found that that was sometimes to do with culture. Like for example, in Eastern Europe, they're kind, but you have to get through their like history of 100 years of communism, right? In certain places in Africa, there's no filter, but at base, it's very similar.
That's helpful to know, and thank you for that. I think you're such an inspiration. And again, I'm just going to encourage everybody, go watch it. Leon, that's very generous of you to send your book out. I know what that takes, and thank you for that. That's very, very kind. So beautiful. And in terms of just to follow up specifically on that question on the language barriers, did you have any issues when you were in other countries? And what was the kindest country? Just curious.
The kindest country was Bhutan, which is northeast of India. They have a thing called gross national happiness, where they determine the success of the country by the happiness of the people. I will say something else. I've written multiple books. Whatever book you want, just tell me. It could be The Kindness Diaries, it could be Go Be Kind, it could be whatever book it is, you can have whichever one you want, okay?
Oh, thank you for that. Now I'm going to bring up some folks with us on camera, and I just ask the question very focused, let Leon answer it, and then we'll go to the next person. Guinea's going to be first. Welcome up, Guinea.
Leon, what an inspiring story about seeing the world the way you saw it, through kindness, through heart. If you were supposed to give some suggestion to a youngster or me who wants to duplicate what you did, what will be your few word of advice for that?
I would say, do not wait until you are 97 years old and on your deathbed to regret that you did not live. Go and live your life. And the only way to truly live your life is to connect.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you for that. And thank you, Guinea. Beautiful. James, come on up.
Hi. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Amazing. My question, Leon, is what, like in your journey, was the most important thing for you as far as like your mindset, who you had to be in order for you to trust in this process? Because, after a few no's or being out there, I'm not sure if you had any security blankets to be able to like know that financially, if everyone says no to you, you'll still be able to have food to eat and to be able to survive. But what is the mindset of who you had to be every day when you're out there that kept you successful in this?
Winston Churchill, I always say this, but it's just true. Winston Churchill once said, never, never, never give up. And I'll talk for myself here. When I put my mind to something, I will never, ever give up, ever. And I will keep on going, and I will never give up. And so the trick is to find something that you're committed to find something that you are inspired by, to find something that touches lives, both yours and someone else's, and to commit with 1 trillion% of your power, and to go and to keep going. Does it mean you're not going to have a moment where you're going to fall down and have a meltdown? No, you're going to. I had many meltdowns. Some you saw on screen, some you never see. But I will keep going. Nothing's going to stop me. Nothing. And having that understanding that you will never stop like kids. I don't have any kids, but I'm sure many people here do. When it comes to your kids, there is nothing that you will not do. There is nowhere that you will not go to make sure that your kids live the best life possible. Transfer that to hear. And do it as imperfectly as you can. Because if I did it the way I'm saying it now, I would be a lot further along than I am. So it's not a perfect thing, right?
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That was excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, James. And Yvonne, come on up. We're going to end with Randy, just so you all know. Randy McNeely. Go ahead, Yvonne.
Thanks, Jill. Were you ever in real danger when you were doing the kindness diaries? And how did you get out of it?
I was not in real danger because although we do silly things, sometimes we prepare. So we knew that we were ultimately going to go to India, so we had to get visas. We knew there were certain places in India that we shouldn't go. We knew when we did Alaska to Argentina that there were certain locations we shouldn't go to, right? So we prepared as best as we could. But there are times when you can't prepare. Like, for example, we actually were in Bihar, which is one of the, I believe, a very impoverished place in India. We went to a location. 3 days later, we heard that a bomb went off in the location we were in. So you can prepare, but you can't fully prepare. You can use your intuition, but sometimes your intuition is wrong. You have to have faith. You have to know that what you're doing is for a purpose greater than yourself, and you have to just go for it. So I never really felt in danger because we did some preparations and because I know what situations to put myself into and what situations not to put myself into. Like, I'll tell you something brief. Yesterday, I'm in Los Angeles, and I was going to park, and some guy was reversing and about to hit me. So I peeped at him. You're going to hit me. You know, I had to, otherwise he would have hit me. He did a U-turn and started screaming at me. But I just ignored it. I was like, I didn't escalate it. And that is an example of knowing how to behave. Again, sometimes I have escalated things, right? Yesterday I was in a good place, so I didn't escalate it. But it's how the lessons we learn in our life and using those lessons to actually better our life. And in that instance yesterday, I was able not to escalate it because I knew that by escalating it, it wouldn't end well. So I was like, all right, the guy's screaming at me, let him scream at me, and he left, and that was it.
Smart move. All right, thank you, Yvonne. Catherine, come on in. Ask a question.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you so much, Leon. I wanted to ask you, so many of us are so connected to our things, the things we have around the house, the things that we carry with us. How did you disconnect from things to connect so much more profoundly with people?
I love books. I read all the time. And I read a book once where Mahatma Gandhi instructed his disciples, or the people that he was close to, that on his death, all his books should be burnt. So what did I do with all my books? I had maybe 1,500 books. I just gave them all away. And that was a way to do what you just said, which is not to be too attached to things. If Mahatma Gandhi can get rid of his books, then surely there's a lesson in that for us. And sometimes I'm like, you got rid of your books, Leon? What is wrong with you? But I did. Yeah, I did. Doesn't mean that, a car isn't important. It is, because it gets you from A to B. Doesn't mean clothes aren't important. They are. They keep you warm. Certain things are important. But what's more important is this. I'm going to tell you one more quick story. I had an aunt who lived during the Blitz, the London Blitz. And I remember asking, I said, Aunt George, what was it like living in the Blitz? And I was expecting her to say to me, it was horrific. The worst times of my life. But she turned around and she said, Leon, those were the best days of my life. And I was like, how is it possible that for 4 years of being bombed, they were the best days of your life? And she said to me, we were all united. We were all connected. We were all in this beautiful state of community. That's not about things. That's about this, right? So what a beautiful thing. What a lesson to learn from good old Aunt George.
Wow. Thank you, Leon. Oh my gosh, we can go on forever. We're going to take one more question from Randy, and just so you know, then we're going to all go into breakouts. Randy, go for it.
It's what a pleasure to have a chance to be here with you, Leon. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm just curious as to what lies ahead. What projects are you working on? What are you working on right now to help continue to spread kindness around the world? Do you have any other shows or other things coming up?
Yeah, so we just, we're editing a documentary where, to cut a long story short, I had a dark night of the soul, ended up going to India to reconnect to my humanity and to God. So that documentary should be ready in the next few months. There's a new book coming out called Go Be Brave, which is about bravery in our everyday life. That should be out next year. And you know, I've got a kindness curriculum which is being worked on now, and 10 schools are in the process of testing it. So there's, you know, there's things, and to me, kindness is important, right? But it's not just, it's bigger than that. Like, you base your life, your foundation, on being a good human, and from that place of kindness or connection, you build other things. Because if you build something based on a rotten foundation, what you build will be rotten, right? So there's lots of different things.
Beautiful. Thank you, Leon, for that. And I just, Leon, I want to give you the last word, so to speak. Is there something else for you that you want to communicate that you just want us to know?
I will say something else. And again, this is a quote from Winston Churchill, but I think it's relatable to most. And he said, when you find yourself walking through hell, keep walking. And what did he mean by that? He meant never, never give up. So when you find yourself walking through hell, keep walking. Because if you don't, that hell is never going to go away. But if you do, there is always hope.
Wow. Leon, I'm getting private comments, and everybody's so excited, obviously in the chat, to have you. I want to invite you publicly back to our Kindness Summit that happens November 13th for World Kindness Day. We'd love to have you back if possible. Super great on that. And can everybody give him some hearts, some woohoos, some yays, and thank him. Thank you so much, Leon, for being here.
Don't forget, send me an email and I'll send you the book ASAP. Whatever book you want.
Mwah.
Maybe be bold and ask for 2. You never know.
You're awesome. You're kind. And thank you for spreading kindness around the world and everything you're doing to promote it. We so appreciate you. Thank you, Leon.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leon. We so appreciate you.
Now, everybody, you are going into breakout rooms to help each other and to be kind. So we look forward to you in the circle. You're going to be 5 people, and do your quick intro. You'll have 90 seconds apiece. So the person with the shortest hair, you're the timer. The person with the longest hair, you're going first. And then you pick the next person, just so we keep this speeding along, and be consistent, be focused, and be kind to each other. Make one request about what you need, and private chat each other how you can help, okay? When we come back, Mary Beth will repost the skill sharing directory so you remember how to reach each other, and I'll let you know about a wonderful event coming up. So are you ready? 10 minutes, shortest hair, you're the timer, longest hair, you're going first. We'll see you back soon, everyone. Did you have a great group? Come on, give me thumbs up if you had a great group. Oh, beautiful. Well, that's 100%. I love that. Couple things. Number one, we have the Skillshare directory that we are putting in the chat. So that's going in right there right now. And I also want to invite you, we have a beautiful publicity master boot camp where you get to actually pitch media, work on your focused messages, have different kinds of amazing panels, including some people like Randy Pizer who are in our kindness circle. So it's very interactive and it's short, no more than 4 hours a day. So because you're here, and even if you've been in my publicity courses, you are getting a super duper special. Mary Beth's posting it in the chat for how to register for the boot camp. And it's super fun, highly interactive. And you get to actually pitch the press, super fun. Former Fox reporter, all kinds of amazing people right there. So, so we're super excited to invite you to that. And she's got the special code because you're in our kindness circle. Was Leon amazing today? Yes? Yes, yes. Beautiful, yes. Beautiful. Super wonderful. Definitely such a great, not only presenter, but just a wonderful opportunity for us to get in that energy and keep in the energy of kindness, right? Next month, we're going to have, just so you know, even more networking and actually do 3 circles of networking. So make sure to come with your requests, with your focus, and with your kindness. And of course, during this month, I ask you to do a conscious act of kindness every single day, every single day. And you know, there's a wonderful saying by Confucius, which says, forget injuries, never forget kindness. And that, my friends, is what I want you to remember as we lead off to a wonderful next month of kindness. I just really appreciate all of you knowing that your message matters. Thank you, everybody, for showing up for kindness. Take yourselves off mute, say goodbye, and we appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Jill, for a great meeting.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice seeing all of you.
Leon's last name.
It's been a pleasure.
What is Leon's last name?
Logothetis. Logothetis. I'll put it in the chat.
Why don't you put it in the chat?
And he is in Amazon. He has a few books that I'm interested in.
Yes, he does. And he actually said he's going to give you at least one, which is very kind of him. And she's got it in the chat. Save the chat. Just a reminder to all of you. Save the chat. Always good.
Somebody needs to know. So you save the chat by going down to where you type it in. All the way at the bottom on the right, there are 3 dots. You click on the 3 dots, and then it tells you to save the chat. Click on that, and the chat is saved in your Zoom folder on your computer.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jill. Great meeting. As always.
For the day.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you very much, Jill. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's
Thank
a
you
delight
for
to have
inviting
you all
me.
here.